All right, here we go. Today we have trap queen Rashia Wilson. Earlier this year, Rashia was released from federal prison after serving 13 years of a 21-year sentence for tax fraud amounting to over $3 million. Her case made national headlines where she was coined the queen of tax fraud and earned an episode of American Gangster Trap Queens on BET. Rashia, welcome to Vlad TV.
I'm grateful to be here.
Well, you have a very interesting story, so I want to start at the very beginning. So, born and raised in Tampa, Florida.
Right,
Now, your mom had you when she was really, really young.
right.
How old was she?
I'm not sure how old my mom was, but I know she birthed 7 women, and the youngest is 32, and the oldest was born in 72. So, and I'm the third baby, so you gotta do the math.
Okay, so she was about maybe 14 when she had her first child?
Probably so, yeah.
Okay, and there were 7 kids?
Yep, 7 girls, no boys.
7 girls, no boys. What are the odds of that?
Wow, yes. 7 girls in one
Okay.
household.
Okay, and how many fathers were there, or was it all the same father?
She got 2 kids. 2 of us got the same dad, so she got 6 baby daddies.
6 baby daddies, 7
Yes.
kids. Wow. So how many of the fathers were actually involved in the kids' lives?
One, my little sister's dad. Both basically, all of us had our same dad, but 2, like I just said, and like she raised us by herself. But she was with my little sister's dad for like 30 years. So he kind of raised us, but not raised us. We really raised ourselves.
Now, you and your biological dad didn't really have a relationship.
No.
Okay, did you ever meet him at all?
Did I ever who?
Did you ever meet him at all?
Yes. My dad actually, so at the age of 2, my dad went to prison for, I think it was like assault. He went to prison for assault, and while in prison, he caught 15 extra years for attempted murder. So he basically was in prison all of my life. But once he got out, yes, we had a good relationship, but it was just every time he visited the streets because he lived in prison. He got out, went back, got out, went back. And I just recently lost him January of this year. 2 months
Sorry
before
for
I
your
came
loss.
home.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, not having a dad around and having siblings that did have a dad around, did that kind of bother you growing up?
It really didn't it bothered me once I got older, but as a child, it was basically like my mom was all I knew anyway. So I didn't really fiend for a dad because my little sister dad was there. So it didn't really bother me until I got older, and I needed that father figure in my life.
Well, originally you guys were in a house, but
Mhm.
then things started to go bad and you guys moved to the projects.
So I was born in Ponce de Leon, in College Hill Projects, and we moved from College Hill Projects to Ponce de Leon Projects. And back then they was giving like I think it was called HUD or something, where they was giving families like first time home buyers, you can get a house for cheap. So my mom ended up moving into a house, which the mortgage was only $300, but she was caught up in her addiction, so she wasn't able to keep up the house. So we moved out the house and moved back to the projects.
How old were you when your mom first started getting addicted?
Maybe around 8.
And look, I have family members whose parents were on crack and so forth. So I got to really, I mean, not see it firsthand, but I got to hear the stories and so
Right.
forth after the fact. Was it crack or was it something else?
It was crack.
Okay. So, and I've heard horror stories about this. Stuff I can't mention to other stuff like coming home and, all your things are outside,
Right.
on the front lawn and, fights and burglaries and so forth. What do you think was the worst thing you experienced with your mom on drugs?
Basically, like not really having food in the house. Like my mom, she wasn't the type of mom where I had to worry about her being on the streets or us being on the streets. Like she always gave us that shelter. She just had an addiction. She was like uh in the closet, like I think that's what they call it when you got an addiction, but it's not where the world can see it. So it was just like the worst thing that I really had to go through growing up was just basically like not having food. Not having food. But my mom did the best she could when it came to raising her kids. Like, she didn't play about her kids. Like, she just had an addiction.
Well, here you are growing up in this house, 7 kids, mom is addicted, so there's not enough food in the house, so you start actually trying to get money on your own.
Right.
How old were you when you first started hustling?
Maybe about 10. I caught my first charge at 11 for stealing out of Walmart, stealing food, actually, out of Walmart. Then I caught another charge, stealing out of Toys R Us. And then I probably caught another one out of Walmart again. But at that time, from age probably 10 to 12, it was something that I had to do. Like, I had 2 younger siblings, so I was basically feeding me and my 2 other siblings as well. Because everybody else, they doing their own thing. My other sister's probably out with their boyfriend, so it's 3 younger siblings in the house. My mom on crack. Like, we got food stamps and all of that, but when you living in a home with a addict, it's not promised every night that we're gonna have food because she got to chase her addiction. So the food stamps went to the drug dealers. So I'm the next oldest one that's in the house, so I had to feed for my siblings. So I did everything to make sure my 2 younger sisters was taken care of.
Well, I guess around that time you were like grabbing change out of wishing wells for
Yes.
food.
Yes. I used to go take change out the wishing well. It was actually a wishing well in a pool for me. I used to get in there, swim, take the change, go to Burger King, buy me some Whoppers. But I had to eat. Buy my sister some Whoppers, but I had to do what I had to do. It was out there for me to take.
Yeah, and I guess around the time that your period came around, you didn't have money for maxi pads, so you were using pages out of phone books.
Pages out of the phone book, yes. Yes. It was hard. Like, we didn't have nothing. Like, my mom, she used to go and they called it a credit, where you go to the stores and you tell them you borrow all this food or whatever throughout the week or the month, and when you get your food stamps or your money, you got to pay back that credit. So every month she owed that credit. Like, don't get me wrong, like, we had like spice ham, bread, cheese, probably peanut butter jelly. Sometimes, of course, cereal, no milk, cereal with no spoons. We had the little small necessities, but not steak and shrimp and stuff like that.
Well, at one point as a teenager, you joined a local gang called the Goyams.
Go Yams.
Okay, and you were what, about 12 at the time?
12.
Okay, and this was a girl gang or a mixed
It was
gang?
basically a hood game. It was just our hood. Like, everybody from our hood, we called ourselves the Go Yams, and it was just like it was a gang, but it wasn't a gang like the Bloods and the Crips and all of that. It wasn't that type of gang. No, we didn't have to get jumped in or all the other crazy stuff you got to do to join the gang. It was like basically like that was the hood that I rep.
Well, after joining the Goyams, your stealing started to actually level up and you started stealing cars as well.
Yes. So I stole cars. I was stealing all type of cars from the airport. But I started, we call them splacking up the cars, where you go and, break the door, take the ignition off, the glow rains. We called them glow rains. They was Dodges. It was easy for us to like steal any type of Dodge, Dodge Shadow, Dodge, all type of Dodges. And we used to get those cars and drive to another car, breaking cars, take purses out of cars. And one day they was like, do y'all know that the keys are in the car at the airport? I'm like, so I don't got to ride around in a 96. I can ride around in a 2000, a brand new car. So we stopped that, and then we started stealing the cars from the airport that already had the keys in the door, selling them to like the local drug dealers for like $100 or $200. And at the age of 12, I was rich. That's a lot of money back then. So we'll just go pick up the cars from the airport and then drop them off to the local drug dealers in like 3 days. That's when they got the little APP out on the car. And that's how I was surviving till like I was probably 13.
Okay, so you're doing all this,
Mm-hmm.
but then at 14, you get arrested and sent to a juvenile program. But before you actually get sent off, you find out that you're pregnant.
Right. So at the age of 13, I was stealing the cars. And then you remember I was catching all these juvenile charges, stealing out of Walmart and everything. And I had a lot of thefts on my record. So with those thefts, they added them up together and they said, okay, well, you got to go to a level 6 all girls program. And I'm like, how long is that? They like 6 months. But I end up finding out I was pregnant inside of the juvenile program, which I served 8 months with my oldest daughter at 14. Yes.
Okay, so here you are in a juvenile program. This is the longest stretch you've ever done, right? At that point.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you're in there for 8 months and you're pregnant. Are there other girls who are also pregnant in this program?
Actually, it was a girl that was pregnant, but she ended up leaving like a week when I got there. So I really didn't get to, because we was on 2 different sides. But we juvenile. She was like 17. I'm a baby.
Okay, so here you are pregnant in jail. And, your stomach is getting bigger and everything else like that. And it's a pretty dangerous situation, though, because, you get into a fight, you could have a miscarriage.
Right.
So what was that whole experience like?
The whole experience was kind of devastating to me because I really didn't have the support that other families had. Because my mom, I think I probably saw her one time, my baby dad, when I called him and told him that I was pregnant, he hung up the phone in my face. And it was just like, dang, I'm young, I'm pregnant. Like, what am I about to do with a baby? Like, so it was just like, I couldn't eat anything. All the food was just disgusting to me. I was having really, really, really bad morning sickness. So it was just like, that was like hard for a child to be incarcerated, pregnant with a child with no support.
Okay, so you get pregnant by your daughter's father. He hangs up on you when you try to actually tell him the news. Are you guys the same age or is he older?
He older.
How much older?
Okay, I have a story. Okay. So I was messing with 2 guys at the time. I was messing with an older guy and I was messing with a younger guy. So when I found out I was pregnant at the time, I was 14, I thought, okay, well, I'm pregnant from the last guy that I had sex with, but I was already pregnant. So the younger guy is the one that hung up the phone on me. The older guy is the one that actually ended up being the father.
Oh,
Yes, I know.
so once again, how much older was he than you?
Oh, God. He was, oh, God. We ain't doing no Diddy stuff right now, Vlad, because I know, look, he was, he he was grown. I'm going to just say that. He was grown. He was grown.
Okay, so basically it was statutory rape.
Basically, he was grown. He was
Right.
grown.
Okay. All right. It is what it is.
Yes.
I mean, was he in his 20s or his 30s?
He was grown.
He was
He was
grown.
grown.
Okay. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen to any of your kids and so forth.
Right,
I don't think you
right.
want them dating older guys, when they're teenagers. Okay.
I played a big part in that too. I used to lie about my age. I had older sisters, so I always had fake IDs. They ID.
Okay.
So
Okay. So here you are in juvenile, pregnant. You get out and then you have the baby?
I had a baby, I think less than 4 weeks later. Yeah.
Okay. So here you are, you're what, like 15 with a baby?
15 with a baby. Yes. I ended up turning 15 in October and I had her in November.
Okay. So you pretty much, do the same thing your mom did, have a baby around the same age.
Pretty much. It's common though. It's even worse for now these days. They having babies at 12. So I did good. I was 14.
Yeah. I mean, we end up doing what our parents did, whether we planned to or not, unfortunately. I do the
Right.
same thing. Yeah. Okay. So here you are, a baby with a baby,
Right.
and your mom is still on drugs at the
My
time,
mom's
right?
still on drugs. Yes.
So you don't have any support. Your dad's in jail.
My dad's in jail. I don't have support, but when I was released from the program, they end up, I was able to get a SSI check for mental health. So they end up giving me a mental health check for getting paid. I think my check was like $600 at the time. So that was enough for me and my baby. I'm on the couch, so I don't gotta pay rent. $600 for me and my baby. I'm 15 and I'm back stealing.
Right. So now you go back to stealing cars again?
No, I ain't want to do cars no more because I thought cars is what's gonna get me booked. But at the end of the day, like after I got older, stealing is stealing and stealing, and that's what led up to the situation. But I end up stealing clothes now at the mall.
Okay. So you're stealing clothes, you're trying to make money, but then by 17, you started actually selling yourself.
Yes,
Okay. What led up to that?
money, hunger, thirst for a good life, thirst like I end up getting my own apartment at the age of 16. I had a sugar daddy. He was a sheriff. So I had my own apartment. I had him.
Wait. Before you go on, if you were 16 at the time and your sugar daddy was a sheriff,
Back to
once again,
yes.
once again, we're back in the same situation of an older man and an underage girl.
Yes.
Again, now he's a sheriff. Now he can't even try to like fake it at this
Right.
point. I mean, he's in a whole heap of trouble if he gets caught for that.
Right.
Okay. All right. So now you're back in that situation. You have an apartment, and what happens next?
So I got my own apartment at 16. I got a sheriff. I'm taking care of my bills. I'm doing everything. But like I said, the thirst, the hunger for just a good life and money. So at 17, my friend presented me with this job that she had. And she was like, okay, well, I dance at this club. Like, I'm making this. I don't got to do this. And this what I'm making. I'm like, okay, well, shit. I can steal in the daytime. I got my share. I got my check. And I could dance at night. So we're talking 16, 17, a 17, 18-year-old with just probably $2,000 like I could say every week. Like it was the good life for me coming from nothing. Like I had nothing. So that I was hustling.
Okay. So did you start with the strip club and that led to prostitution?
So I started with the strip club, and then inside of the strip club, of course, they have what they call them, like your VIP, your clientels or whatever. So I started getting, we call them tricks. So I started getting tricks, little sugar daddies, and shit. Once they start saying, hey, I'll give you $200, $300 for like, especially a 2-minute, man. I mean, I was down with that. So we took that, and the city, the state, they started talking about like the black college reunion in Daytona Beach, Florida, where all the colleges come out, and we got Memorial Weekend, and we just used to be going out there. And every time we walk with a bathing suit, men always want to pay for sex. They're like, hey, how much? I'm like, whoa, how much? They're like, this can really be an occupation doing the black college reunion and Memorial Day. And that's what I did. But it wasn't like on Backpage or walking down the street prostituting. No, it was just probably those 3 spring break, Memorial, and probably that's it. And it was guaranteed I was coming back with at least $6,000, if not more, a weekend.
Well, here you are. You're 17 years old. You have one child already. You have a sugar daddy who is, overage. You're, making money prostituting, but you have a boyfriend at the time and you end up getting pregnant.
No boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just the guy you were seeing.
I couldn't do the boyfriends at the time. I wanted to do me.
Okay, but whatever that was ended up with you pregnant.
Right. You talking about the first child or the second child?
The second child.
Okay. Oh, well, we eventually start being in a relationship, a really, really, really bad domestic violence, like a really bad relationship.
The father of your second child, was he around your age or was he older as well?
He's 3 years older than me.
Okay, relatively close to age. Okay. Did you think about getting an abortion at that point?
No. I was
Why is
actually,
that?
I had my girl already, and my second child was a boy, so that was fine with me. I had a girl and a boy. I was done, and I got money now. I could fend for myself. So if I didn't have the money, I probably would have gotten an abortion. But in my family, we don't really believe in abortions. Like had what, 6 sisters? They would have been like, just give me the baby.
Okay, you get pregnant, and this is Charles, right?
Mhm.
Your second child's father. Now, as you're pregnant, he gets more and more abusive,
Right,
and that culminated in a really bad situation.
right.
Tell me about that.
So back in 2003, 2002, I don't know if it was based like his financial problem or what it was, but it was just like, okay, I'm in the mall, I'm making money, I'm dancing, I'm making money. And it was always like, give me, give me, give me. Like where we come from, like in Tampa, a lot of women, they kind of made it bad because these men expect that the women's supposed to take care of them when they get in the money. And it was like every time I said no, it got abusive, or it was just crazy. But I don't think like at the time, like my baby daddy, like it wasn't no drug problem or nothing. It was just like, I ain't gonna jealousy maybe, because he became really like really bad, like violent, like attempted murder violent. Like he had 2 attempted murders on me, 2 battery attempted murders. He had false imprisonment, home invasions. Like it was bad. Coming in, kicking in the door, beating my TVs with hammers. Like it was bad. So I keep in mind I'm 18. Like I'm doing all of this. Like I'm hustling to make sure I got a nice apartment, make sure my kids is good. And then I got this guy right here just taking everything from me. So now I got to go back to the mall and steal so I can get something to get me a nicer TV, because now my TV is getting beat with hammers and stuff.
Well, yeah, there was a situation where he broke in your house and basically strangled you
Yeah,
while you were 8 months pregnant,
I think I was 9, but yeah,
9 months pregnant. So he could have basically killed the baby, or the baby could have came out, autistic, or,
right,
because of lack of oxygen. Like, that's insane.
right. It was.
Right. Because when he did that, I guess, was it your friend or your sister called the police?
Yes, a friend.
Okay, friend called the police. He was arrested. Aggravated assault, assault on a pregnant woman, attempted murder, etc., etc. He's facing up to 25 years. But you don't show up to court.
Nope.
Why is that?
To be honest, because I'm not a cop, I didn't call the police. And I know what you're probably saying, like, oh, or the world might be saying, well, he just beat you and you don't want to press charges. It's not like that coming from where I'm from. Like, I was raised with no daddy. I'm not about to take my son dad away from him for 25 for life. Now, if it was like 10 months or something they was offering and I was pissed off, but you talking 25 to life. So I worked out a deal with him and said, if you stay the fuck out my life, I will not go to court on you. And he stayed out of my life because he didn't want them 25 years. So I couldn't I couldn't take my son dad away from him. Especially, I'm happy that I didn't, because he just graduated today and now he's a Tampa firefighter. So he did a good job raising him while I was going to prison.
Okay, so you guys actually became cool at one point?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. We became cool. He my baby daddy.
Okay, so by 2003, you're 18, you have 2 kids,
Yes.
but you had been arrested like 20 times at this point.
For stealing.
I mean, did you at one point say, listen, I've been arrested 20 times. I'm clearly not very good at this.
No, because I was good at it. This is the thing. And we be in denial sometimes. I was good at it. And when you look at those 20 arrests, it's not 20 arrests because it's 20 different charges. It'd be like, okay, I get booked for grand theft and I violate probation, so I got to go get booked again for that charge and then booked again. But it wasn't like because I still, even out of those 20 arrests, or the world said 40 arrests, whichever one it may be, I still never got served a day in the county jail. I never got sentenced to county jail time. I never got sentenced to prison time. So it just looks like that to the media, but it really wasn't like that.
Okay, so by 23, you have 2 kids, and you've been getting arrested for robbery and so forth. So you try to figure out a different way to do it. And at that point, the way that you actually considered doing something different is creating an entertainment company, First Lady Entertainment.
Yes.
Okay, and how did that start off initially?
So it was this guy from my hood. He was a DJ. And keep in mind, you remember I said I stole clothes. At this point, when I'm stealing clothes, I'm a real famous booster because I'm not the boosters where you go grab the clothes and then you ride around in your trunk and you trying to sell them to everybody. No, you're going to say, Rashia, I need to spend $1,000 this week. I need some 5T little girls and some 5T little boys. So that week, I'm going to go get your $1,000 order. I'm going to go to the store just to get your order. So I'm getting multiple orders at the time. So everybody know me. So now I done got me a Chevy Monte Carlo. I put some 24-inch rims on there and I put Chevy Girl on the back of it. So not only am I a big time booster, I'm a female and I'm riding in the cars at the time like the males are riding in. But they selling drugs. I'm stealing clothes because the hustle is a hustle. And I'm riding like them. So I got a lot of people respected my hustle and they loved my car. I had the Lamborghini Does and all of that. Like, it was really nice. And I was known. So one day the guy was like, you need to open up an entertainment company. I'm like, what you mean? I ain't selling my ass. He was like, no, not that type of entertainment company. Like, you need to start promoting because the city, they fuck with you. And I'm like, what you mean? He say, look, it's just this simple. Go get you some flyers made. Go get you a logo. I'll be your DJ. And open up a little bar and do teen events. I'm like, I don't got time for these badass kids. They be want to shoot people and they want to do all of that. And he like, no, it's going to be good. He say, look, open up a business. Come up with a name. So he say, 813 Entertainment. I'm like, nah, I don't feel like I'm going to stay in Tampa for forever. He say, shit, Chevy Girl Entertainment. I'm like, I'm not about to be riding in no Chevy all my life. He say, First Lady Entertainment. I was like, oh, yes, I like that name, First Lady, but we're going to do it 1ST, not F, because I'm not the pastor's wife or the president's wife. I'm First Lady, 1ST. He was like, yeah. So what we did was I got the flyers made and I rented out a little bar. And like the first weekend, I think we cleared probably 400 teams at $10 a head. So that's $4,000. I was like, oh shit, now I got a new little hustle. So within 2 more weeks, I did it again. So I'm just stacking it. So he say, you need to use that money and bring artists to town. I'm like, what you mean artists? Like Beyonce artists? He was like, nah, you can't get Beyonce. Like, we got OJ the Juiceman. He's popping right now. He just came out with that quarter brick, half a brick, whole brick. Hey. I'm like, yeah. So he like, you need to bring OJ the Juiceman. I'm like, well, how do I do that? He was like, I don't know all that. I'm going to plug you in with somebody and you just going to have to figure it out. So I think he ended up giving me hit after hit entertainment. That's Walker's Flocker's mom entertainment, Miss Deb. And I end up getting my own personal person and I called her. I got OJ the Juiceman for like $7,500 at the time because, you know, you only send them half of the money and then the other half you make back on ticket sales. And I did that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot of money. I think I cleared like 25, 30,000 off the show. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, wow, is this much money in the industry? Then I turned around and did it again. Then I bought Trina. She had just came out with long heels, red bottoms. I bought her because she had a popping song because when he told me about the game, he said, you always look for the artist that got the song on the radio and that got the most spins right now. And at that time, that's who it was. And then Young Dro with the My Girl Got a Girlfriend and all of that. So I did them in order. OJ the Juiceman, Trina, Young Dro, my birthday bash, like, and that's how I started the entertainment company. And I wasn't stealing no more then. I was done stealing. I'm making too much money. I got a nice house. I got a nice car. My kids' needs for nothing, and I'm rising up.
Well, at that point, why not just put all your focus on the legal business? Look, I did some sideways stuff along the years, but once I started a fully legal business, I said, okay, I'm not going back to that. I got to go full blown into this because, look, at the end of the day, there's no point of building up an illegal business because
Right.
the bigger it gets, the bigger you'll get busted at the end.
Right.
Right? So it's hard to even do that and be motivated by that unless
Right.
you just don't care about going to prison. But with a legal business, you could throw all your effort into it, and the bigger it gets, the more money you make.
Right.
So coming from stealing, boosting, prostitution, and so forth, now you have a legal hustle. Why not just go full-blown legal? That's it.
I was full-blown legal for until like 2009, 10, no, like 10, 11. Yeah, that was my money. I'm now dating NFL players. I got these NFL player boyfriends. I need it for nothing at all. So everything was legal up until 2010, maybe 9, 10.
Okay. And that's when the tax fraud started.
Yes, for me.
How did it start initially?
How did it start in 2010? So in 2010, I'm from Tampa, of course, and anywhere in Florida, it's fraud. They got mortgage fraud, they got tax fraud, they got just fraud, period. So there's always some type of fraud going on in Florida. And then in 2010, at this time, they called this self-employment, where if you are a barber, a hairstylist, nail tech, house cleaner, this lady was able to get you back like $5,000. But you gotta have kids. You gotta have the earned income credit. And 1 year, so she'll charge us like $1,000 and she'll give us back 5,000. And by 2011, you gotta have a 4-digit PIN on your taxes. So I'm like, hey, send me over my paperwork. You know what I mean? I wanna see the paperwork, which was stupid. If I was her, I wouldn't have did it. So I'm very intelligent when it comes to computers. So I was able to get my tax return that she filed and look at everything that she did. And then I experimented by filing somebody's tax return. And the money came back. So I did it again. And the money came back. And I did it again. And I did it again. And the money kept coming back. And I just kept going.
Okay. So now you're making tax fraud money.
Yes.
And you still have the promotion company.
Yes.
So were you taking some of the tax fraud money and booking artists with it and then sort of laundering it through the promotion company in a way, or?
No, I was taking the promotion money and using that money to fund another artist. I was using the tax fraud money to fund my lifestyle.
Okay. So that starts to actually grow.
Yes.
And it's not just, okay, I'm going to file fraudulent taxes for myself, but now you're getting other people involved. You almost start like a business of teaching people how to do tax fraud.
No. So there's no classes. There's no teaching. We're talking Tampa. Everybody is doing taxes. They're teaching me. It's like this. Hey, what numbers do you got? They'll send me numbers. Like it don't take a rocket scientist at the time to do taxes, because from 2010, 2011 was self-employment. But eventually every scheme come to a stop. So by 2011, there was no more self-employment. That didn't even exist, because now you got to send over forms to the IRS, the ABC copy to this person and that person. So now there's another scheme around tax fraud. And it's all just circumvented throughout Florida. So I had another friend like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what you do. And it was just, everything was just self-explanatory at the time. It was, I hate to say this, like I'm not being flamboyant or anything, but it's like we're not the dumb ones. I felt like the IRS was the dumb ones because y'all are allowing the money to continue to be direct deposited into these people's account. We was getting the tax forms and we was just making up numbers. When normally the numbers are calculated, but it was like we can just put a number on the tax fraud. We could just put a number on the form and the number can say $9,000 and they was just direct depositing the $9,000 without the numbers even matching. We were just getting on the computer, just putting in whatever number we want. And when TurboTax numbers say 9,000, 8,000, we just hit send. And in 3 days, your refund will be direct deposited. Come on, it's not our fault.
I mean, you know what you're doing, though.
I know, of course. That's like you put that steak in front of that hungry dog. What that dog gonna do?
Well, okay, so let's say during that time, I approached you and said, listen, I want to do tax fraud. What would you tell me to do, and how would we work together for that?
It wasn't no working together. I say, during that time, what would I have told you? Is you the police?
No.
No, this is what I would have told them. Because nobody is approaching people saying, teach me how to do tax fraud. So if you approach me and say something about tax fraud, I'm going to be like, are you the police?
Okay, so let's just phrase it another way. You have a friend, we have a mutual friend, they introduce us. Look, this is Vlad, he's cool, I've known him my whole life, he's not a cop. Teach him how to do tax fraud.
It wasn't like that. Like, you'll be teaching me. You'll be sitting there with me. Like, how I was scary. Like, my whole indictment, like, I never even had an indictment. I don't know if you read it. I never was the one that was getting indicted because I wasn't reckless. Like, I'm not going to sit. The game is to be sold, not told. I'm not finna sit there and teach you how to do no tax fraud. Like, it wasn't that easy. I'll probably say, okay, do you got some information for me? How about I file these returns for you. You give me a bank account or address, and I send you this, and I get this. Like, I'm not giving up my game. So that's probably what happened. And you still would have been happy. You still would have been good because the amount of money that was coming in at the time, you never had to work for again in your life.
Well, by 2012, you're around 27 years old at the time. You were making like $100,000 a week from tax fraud.
If not more.
Okay. And then you linked up with a guy named Maurice Larry, a.k.a. Thirst.
Yes.
What happens next?
I link up with Maurice, and basically we became a couple. He had his way of doing things. I had my way of doing things, and we basically just did our thing together.
Well, right. He was a former drug dealer who got busted. And once he got out, he started working on scamming. And that's how you guys got together, essentially?
So basically, back in 2011, I think so, him and his friends had a situation going on where the police went up into a hotel room and arrested some guy for his warrant. When they went inside the hotel room, it was an illegal search warrant. So they hit him with the RICO, organized fraud, everything, because they thought it was drug transactions going on. But no, it was actually guys in there using the free Wi-Fi doing tax fraud. So when they went up
Wait, hold on. They were doing tax fraud
Yes.
in a hotel room because it was free Wi-Fi?
Hell yeah, you want the Wi-Fi traced back to your house?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You
All
know
right,
what I'm saying?
I see where this is going.
And then we got,
okay.
like, they probably, I don't know what they had, but I'm sure it was probably like 10 laptops going at one time using the,
Okay.
you know? So they basically went up in a hotel room. It was an illegal search warrant. The case got dismissed. And here go me. Now I'm with Maurice, and the feds done picked up the case, and they're watching him. I'm riding around in a 550 Benz. I got an X5. I got a Lexus truck. I got all these foreign cars, and I'm with this guy that's doing taxes. So they don't know about the First Lady Entertainment. Just a red flag go off. And at this time, you got to think about it. Tampa, 2012, tax fraud pandemic. You got 16-year-olds riding around in 645 drop-top BMWs. They're getting $9,000 back off each name. And that's just what happened. Me and Maurice, we did our thing together, apart, and we became co-defendants.
Well, one of the schemes you guys did was you would go on Ancestry.com and you would get the names of people that died within a month and you would file tax returns on their names.
Right.
Because I guess what? They didn't register that they had died yet with the government.
Yes.
And
how smart is that?
It's interesting.
It's really
it's
smart.
Interesting.
You don't got to pay nobody, none of the money. You just pick up the computer, type the information in, and put it in, and the money is coming back. So why is we the ones that, okay, never mind. That would be a stupid question, but I'm just saying, it was so many ways that they could have just said, let me put a stop to this right now. It's like, dead people, y'all are in the IRS office, like y'all allowing the deceased people tax returns to come back and be direct deposited into a bank account. And you got these people that never had shit in their life that's doing it. Like of course we gonna do it. I mean,
how many cars did you have at your height when you were making the most amount of money?
How many? Okay, so I got indicted in 2012. I had a 2013 Audi A8. I had a 2000 and I think it was a 2009 S550. I had a BMW X5. I had a Lexus truck. I had a Chevy Impala, and that was it. That was 5.
5 cars. 5 cars. And I guess you had bought a house and everything too?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, people say when you started making illegal money, don't be flashy, don't get on the feds radar. And look, this is coming from someone
I know where this
who
going.
hung out. I hung out with BMF during their heyday. I got to see BMF billboards and go like, what the hell are y'all doing right now?
Right.
I got to see the absolute worst of this type of flashiness. And I'm looking around going like, okay, everyone's going to go to jail over this. Like this is so insane. And that's ultimately what happened. Are you worried at this point that you are so flashy that the feds are going to come, knocking any minute?
No. Why would I be worried if you feel like when you're doing things like you're untouchable, you feel like the feds not watching you? Why would they be watching you? They need to be watching that person. They doing something bigger than what you're doing. I didn't feel like the feds was watching me because I thought I had my organization under wraps. I had my First Lady Entertainment and I was doing legal things. But unfortunately, of course, I was doing illegal things. But I felt like, okay, with the First Lady Entertainment, I'm dating these ball players. I can make $100,000 in one night off a show. So I'm not thinking that they're looking at the tax fraud lifestyle or what I'm doing illegal because I feel like I'm just doing everything right. You know what I mean? But there was a time in 2012, I was at the Floyd Mayweather fight, and there was this Chinese guy. I had seen him already. Not to mention, with my legal side, I also was getting paid to just grab money and get paid to host nights at clubs. Like I can get paid, they'll be like, First Lady, I need you here at this club on this night. I'm gonna pay you this. All I need you to do is hold up the money and be like, y'all niggas come get these ones. You know what I mean? Like I was getting paid like $3,000 just to host, just to pick up the mic and talk shit. And I felt like everything that I was doing was right. But there was this Chinese man that I kept seeing everywhere. But I'll tell Thirst, I'm like, I just seen that man in the club. He was like, man, you tripping. Because the fans ain't watching me in my mind. But I know this man keep following me. And then I seen him in Vegas. We walking out of Sunglass Hut. I'm happy. I just got me he just bought me some $900 Cartier shades. I'm like, that's the same Chinese man that was in Tampa at the club. He like, babe, you tripping. It ain't nobody following us. Cause they ain't following me. They gonna follow his ass because he the one got the case. This is what I'm thinking in my head. And I'd be damned. That was the same Chinese man that was at my house that day to indict me. So he was the feds the whole entire time. But I felt it, but I was in denial because I felt like I wasn't doing anything wrong. But after you go land on that bunk, that cold bunk in prison, you just sit back and you think like, I remember this and I remember that. And yeah,
Well, you had a 1-year-old daughter at the time,
yes,
and you threw a birthday party that cost $30,000,
if not more.
if not more. So you got this crazy birthday party with animals and all this over the top stuff. And there was a helicopter literally hovering over the house.
So when I say if not more for the baby birthday party, I'm not saying it in a flamboyant way. I'm saying it like I had investors. Like, remember, I had all these NFL player boyfriends. I had one that was from Bradenton. I had one that was from Tampa. So in order for us to get back to our community, it was my baby's first birthday party. And I'm like, hey, y'all help me with this party. It's going to be a free party, but everybody they got to just bring my baby a gift. So I had probably a ball player spending money over here, over there, over there. The figures, the world may never know how much that party was. I know I don't because I ain't pay for everything. They was paying for stuff. I paid a lot too, but it wasn't just funded from me. Like it was just everybody pitching in. That's how we basically gave back to the community. Cause me growing up, and I'm from Tampa, I never even been to Busch Gardens as a child. So I can just imagine other families. So I bought Busch Gardens to the kids.
Well, yeah, but the helicopter that was hovering was the feds.
Yeah. So that morning, it was up into the party from that morning to that night. No, from that week, the week prior, I first had my baby party going to one part. The part called me back like, hey, the city's talking about this party. I heard you're gonna have animals and rods. You can't do it. It's gonna be a liability if someone get hurt. Cool. I took the party from the city and I took it outside the city and went to the county, thinking it's gonna be different. It was fine. Everything was cool. That night, because I think I had like a 250 slide that the people was bringing for the kids. They say, hey, like, they put the slide up that night and that morning, I guess they got word, the county got word of the party. And the people went to the park and was like, this party cannot happen. So I couldn't even get the slide at the new party because they put it up the day before. And there was this white guy and he say, hey, F the police. I own all these acres around the corner. That's my land, my property. Get somebody out here to mow the lawn, make sure it's cleaned up after. Fuck them, pretty much. You can have a party on my land. And that's what I did. The police could not shut my party down. Instead, they made people uncomfortable by flying in a helicopter around the party. But everybody enjoyed themselves. I mean, everybody that was probably doing things illegal probably felt uncomfortable, but I know I wasn't because I wasn't doing nothing illegal in my eyes.
Right, at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Okay, well, here you are. You're making all this money. You're throwing these big, lavish parties. You're driving around in like 5 different cars, and I'm sure you're wearing designer and jewelry and everything else like that. And that brings the haters. And you're having situations where your house is getting broken into.
My house my house got kicked in. That was that was like years prior. I never had to deal with that from like 2012, 10 to 12. No, I think my house got broken into in like 2009, where some guys ran up in the house, put a shotgun to me and my kid's head, and I felt like it was a hit, meaning it was somebody in my circle that sent those guys to my house because one of the guys slapped me. And when he slapped me and the police came, I couldn't even tell the police what side he slapped me on. Like, it was one of those slaps like, damn, I want to knock her ass out, but I really don't want to because I probably, I know her because he had on mask. Well, one guy didn't, but the guy that hit me, you can tell that he really didn't want to do it. But they came when I was coming up, not when I was up.
That's an insane situation. So here you are with your daughter and a bunch of guys storm into your house with shotguns and masks, and they're putting guns to your daughter's head as well?
My daughter and my son.
And your son's head as
Yes.
well. Ooh.
You know what was the crazy part about that situation?
Yeah.
When the police came, this story is like so crazy because one of the guys didn't have a mask on. And my
Right.
son, who was probably 7 at the time, the officer, the detective had a lineup. And my son said, yes, Mom, that's the one that put that big shotgun to my head. Yes. So he was able to point out the same guy on the picture. So I can just imagine now, like, do he think about that? Because he remembered at the age of 7, like he was able to pick this guy on the lineup.
So do those guys get arrested?
Okay, so this is the funny part of the story. The guys was stupid. They came and did a home invasion in their mother's van. Right. Let me tell you this story. So, so my dad was this was one of the times that he had came home, RIP to my father. He came, the guys, I was in my room with my daughter and my son, and I heard a big boom. And my friend, one of my friend girls, she was in the front room. My dad was in my son's room. And the guys, so at this time, I got a back door to my room. But I'm so scared of rats and snakes and raccoons. And in my backyard, it be snakes and raccoons and stuff out there. And this at night. We don't got no street light. And I'm staying in a nice little area, like in a nice neighborhood. And it's like, damn, okay, my kids is right here. I just heard this boom. I know because I hear them. I hear my friends screaming. I want to run out this damn back door, but then I'm going to leave my kids right here in the bed. But I can hear tussling. So when they kicked in the door, my dad shot past them to, to use the phone to call the police. Everything happened, I swear to God, all of this has happened in less than a minute. When that door got kicked open, you can hear the helicopter outside. My area was I lived around a whole bunch of older, like a whole bunch of older people. And they said that they knew something was going on because it was a van in front of their house for like 10 minutes before they actually got out the car. So they had already called the police. So the police was already on their way. So as soon as they kicked in the door, it was like that, and they ran out the back door. And nothing happened. One of the guys, how I knew it was their mother's van, they end up dropping the keys in the road down the street. The police end up getting the van. The mama was at the casino that night in Tampa. The guys was from Lakeland, Florida. And like a month after, they end up arresting the guy that was on the picture. But within that month while he was locked up, it's a truck full of guys. Because where I live at, there's no Black people around there. There's no way that a car full of men should be on my street. Because I'm living in a nice little area. And I was coming home from the club, and they was looking at my house. I was riding, and they was staring at my house. And I called the police. It was them again. Probably like, don't testify on my brother. But I didn't go to court.
Okay, so here you are. You're deep in the whole tax fraud situation. The feds are watching you. And at one point, they start going through your trash, and they start finding records. They also get your IP addresses, and they link that to the IRS, and they find other people's names and so forth. And things are starting to really heat up without you necessarily knowing it. And there's a Facebook post that you didn't do, but it's on your account, and it has a picture of you holding up a stack of money, and it says, "I'm Rashia, the queen of IRS tax fraud. I'm a millionaire," for the record. So if you think indicting me will be easy, it won't. I promise you. I won't do no time. Did you actually see this post before you got arrested?
Yes, I saw the post. I called Geek Squad. I was one of the comments, multiple comments, because I called not called all my friends. All of my friends was calling me. Like, why are you writing that on your post? What you doing that for? I'm on my way. I'm outside. And everybody just all swarmed my house. And I'm crying because I'm like, I didn't fucking do this post. Like, why would anybody Anybody. Tell the feds to come and indict them. Like, that's just stupid. So whoever hacked my page, which at first I thought it was Maurice's baby mom, but then again, I don't think she was smart enough to do that, because when I hit change password, it'll say your password has been changed, but it never sent me the password. So still to this day, I think that was the feds, and that was something, because this is in May, and I end up getting indicted in September.
Okay, so at one point, after the feds felt they had enough evidence, they actually went to your home and essentially raided your home with guns and lasers and everything else like that. You were there, your kids are there. Describe that whole situation.
So I don't feel like they raided my house because they had enough evidence. They raided my house because they came with a search warrant to indict Maurice. Let's rewind. This is September. Let's rewind to August. In August, there was this guy on Facebook. He went by the name Rashia. I don't mess with any guys from my city because I felt like I was up here now. I'm dating ball players and etc. But there was this guy, greed, money. I'm going to just say that. And he DM'd me, emailed me, and we was just talking like on a normal. And one day, I asked him to get my hair done. He got my hair done. He gave me 8 crispy $100 bills that was marked money. I'm going to get to that. One day, we went and talking about fraud. He gave me information. Yeah, I gave him information. I told him that I needed a new, at the time, it was the little Virgin Mobile prepaid Wi-Fi cards. He went and bought me a Virgin Mobile wire card, and it was open when he brought it to me. I'm not thinking about none of this until I'm in prison now. And there was another time where we supposed to went out to eat. And he said, baby, I got to go make a stop real quick. And I'm like, okay, I'm on my iPad. I'm a social media junkie. I'm on there. He go inside this place for like 15 minutes. I look up, we at the gun range. I'm like, okay, still sitting in the car because we supposed to be going to eat. He said, let's go in the gun range for a minute. When we go in there together, the guy say, good evening. Have y'all been here before? Me not thinking anything. You just was in there for 15 minutes. You said that you had to go and meet your friends, but have we been here before? You could have asked whatever question that you needed to ask to him when he was just in there with you. Are you a convicted felon? No. They go to my house now. Fast forward to September. That's in August. I be dang, they come to indict Maurice, and they take me to jail for felony possession of a firearm for being in the gun range, a convicted felon.
Oh, so he basically set you up
He entrapped
to fill
me,
out
yes.
a form. But you could have said, yes, I'm a convicted felon, and then that would have been it. I don't want to shoot guns today, whatever.
I could have said that, but at the time, you're not thinking like that. And then I started having my friend pull him up and everything, and I'd be damned. His name wasn't his name. I made him show me his ID. I said, well, why are you saying that your name is Rashia? He said, oh, because that's what my dad been calling me all my life. This like a few weeks before I got indicted. I'm like, look, you gonna have to basically like tell me who the fuck you is, or I'm not messing with you no more. So he was shaking. So while I'm with my friend, I'm texting her everything, and she sent me a screenshot. U.S. Marshal Ho, released. He was working. He had a pending federal case, and he set me up.
Okay, so your house gets raided, you get arrested, Thirst gets arrested. They found 2 weapons in the house. You get charged.
They found one weapon in the house, and the other one was for me being in the gun range. That's the 2.
Ah, okay, got it. So 1 weapon at the house, another one from the gun range. You get charged with conspiracy, wire fraud, theft of government property, filing false claims, and aggravated identity theft. They say that you stole $3 million and try to steal another $21 million from the IRS. Now, you've done little skid bids when you were a kid, but here you are now facing 20 years.
I'm not thinking I'm facing 20 years though. I mean, the men from Wall Street, they only get sentenced to like 5 years. So I'm never once at one time thinking that I'm going to get 21 years. It was just like, I remember the officer, which was the same one that was in the helicopter, because he told me, he like, you need to play ball. I was in a helicopter flying over your house. And I'm like, no. He like, you're facing 20 years. I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. Like, I already know what you want me to do. You want me to snitch? You want to threaten me with this 20-year sentence? But I'm not thinking that I'm going to receive 20 years. Like, who would ever think that you would lose your life for trying to survive? Yes, I know what the hell I was doing was wrong, but 20 years for fraud, like, that's a little deep.
Okay. Well, let's keep it 100. You were doing a lot more than trying to survive.
What else I was
trying
doing?
Trying to survive meant that, okay, I'm just going to do a little bit to pay my rent and so forth and stay under the radar. You were flossing, you were balling out, you were taking it over the top. Let's just keep it 100.
Let's keep it 100. I'm still surviving because after I floss and I spend those 50 stacks, I still need to survive. So I'm going to make another 50 stacks. The flossing, the picture that you probably talking about with me holding up the money that they say is tax fraud money, for one, I can't hold up. That's $2,000. Tax fraud money, if I was holding up tax fraud money, it would have been like this. I can't hold it. So that was not tax fraud money. It was $1 bills. Flossing, the rappers do it all the time. Everybody floss. The celebrities floss. It's just in our nature. I mean, it's 2000. Everybody's flossing.
Right. I understand that. And at the end of the day, it's all water under the bridge.
Yes.
But you also could have said, okay, look, I'm going to hit the slick. I'm not going to buy 5 cars. I'm going to drive a regular car. I'm going to make this stretch out as long as possible and then maybe hit another lick a year later and then kind of keep doing it that way to try to stay below the radar. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point, but you have to blame yourself somewhat to say, okay, you took it way over the top and that caused a lot of attention. And you may have been able to actually go below the radar if you had just been a lot more conservative and just not really spent the type of money you spend in order to make more money again illegally. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So to respond to what you just said, yes, what you're saying is right. However, with my job, First Lady Entertainment, it was an entertainment business. And in the entertainment business, what do people do? They entertain the world, right? So that comes with flossing. That come with flaunting. It's just part of their image. So for these club owners to want First Lady to host their event, First Lady got to be doing something right. Nobody's knowing about my illegal side. Not everybody. My ball players and stuff, they didn't know about the illegal side. So with me even able to gain the attention of them, come on, they seen somebody on the computer probably holding up money. Let me see who this girl is. They got this girl in the club all night on the DJ booth. They saying one time for First Lady Entertainment. Let me see who she is. Like, it just comes with the business. Yes, I didn't have to floss as much, but with my job, I felt like social media to the day, social media is everything. I'm on the computer, I'm holding up money. Oh, well, I want her to host my strip-a-thon tonight because I see so that's basically what I was doing. I was in a business and I was taking care of business.
Well, when you get arrested, it made national news.
Yes.
So now it's really out there. What happened? Now, did you get bonded at all or are you in jail this whole time?
Yes. So when the feds came to my house, like I say, they came to indict my co-defendant. They never had an indictment for me. When they searched the house, they found traces of tax fraud and they found the firearm. I went to jail on felony possession of a firearm and I bonded out. 2 days later, I was going to pay for an attorney for Maurice and I got pulled over in a car. And when I got pulled over, they said, I'm arresting you for the firearm that we found in your house. But the whole time I'm in the county jail, I never still had an indictment. Like, I sat for months before they even actually gave me an indictment. They used that to hold me. So they called it a complaint, a federal complaint or something.
Okay, so here you are in jail, no bond. You got 2 kids.
3.
3 kids, sorry. 3 kids who I'm sure what your relatives are helping out with at this point, but I'm sure it's killing you inside because you're in jail. Now, they actually singled you out as the leader of this whole operation. Now, Thirst, who's also arrested on his own set of charges that's related to you, is he cooperating or no?
No.
Okay, because this seems kind of like a gray area where some people thought he was cooperating, some people thought he wasn't. And I guess Thirst can't actually read.
Thirst was not cooperating. He's not illiterate. Clearly, he can read if he able to defraud the government out of millions of dollars.
Okay, but where did this story come from? You know what I'm talking about here.
I know what you're talking about. So listen, okay, I don't know where the story come from, but I do know that Thirst, when I got indicted, Thirst wrote a letter to my lawyer at the time who sold me to the government and said everything that y'all just found in Miss Rashia Wilson's house belongs to me. My lawyer did not present the letter because my lawyer said it was like I was coercing him to say that because he already done made a deal. But Thirst did not tell on me. No.
Okay, so you guys are both arrested. Who pleads out first?
I think I pled out first. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I think
so
the snitching comes from somebody in our camp was telling. When I say our camp, not even my camp. First, remember, they came to indict him for his indictment from them watching him from the hotel room. Somebody from that, I don't care, his co-defendant, he has a co-defendant on his tax fraud indictment, and then I'm his co-defendant on the tax fraud that they found in the house. When they found the firearm, after I signed my plea, they came back and indicted me with the stuff that they found in the house and re-indicted him again. But I wasn't cooperating, and no, he didn't tell on me.
okay, so you're arrested and the feds are talking to you about a plea deal. Now, your lawyer said, take the plea deal, you'd get maybe 18 months for the gun and no more than 5 years for the tax fraud.
Correct.
Now, when you get a plea deal, do they tell you what the plea deal is? Because I thought once you take a plea deal, it's for a certain amount of time and that's that.
Certain states is different. In the 11th Circuit, we plead to the charge because after being incarcerated, I met females and they was like, oh, well, I pled it to 10 years. I'm like, well, how can you do that? In my situation, he told me I won't receive no more than 18 months. He knew that there was another indictment brewing, but he never told me that. He said, I need you to plead to this gun charge. I paid him $75,000. He told me to plead to this gun charge. So I did just that because I was illiterate to the judicial system. I didn't know any better. I had a 7th grade education level. So I pled guilty to the gun charge that I was going to receive probably 18 months probation for. When I pled guilty to the gun charge, I called home and my mom's crying. I'm like, what y'all crying for? Like, I'm not even sentenced. I only pled guilty. She said, because you own all the news stations. I'm like, I know, I just went to court today. She was like, no, baby. I'm like, what? Like, what you crying for? Like, it's 18 months. Like, we good. She said, you just got hit with a 47 count indictment today. So they had me plead guilty to the gun charge. Use that they did use that as a conviction and then came back with the tax fraud indictment so my points can go up so I can get more time when it was all the same case.
Well, right. Because of the number of victims with the IRS, you got a 6-point enhancement.
Yes.
So now you got this case that's way worse than you thought it was.
Yes.
You plead guilty. 3 months later, you get in front of the judge, and he gives you 252 months, which is 21 years.
Yes.
When
Oh,
you
you just
heard
bought
that,
chills. Yes.
yeah, when you heard them say 21 years after doing the math in your head, how did you feel? Because you're like, at that point, you're what, 27 years old?
Yes. I couldn't do the math in my head. You talking about 252 months with no pen and paper. So when he said 252 months, I look over at my attorney at the time and I say, how much time is that? He say 21 years. I'm like, what? Like 12 months, 21 months? Like, he said 21 years. And I look back, my family had already caught the time. You know, 12 times 12 is 24. That's the highest they teach you with timetables. So I know 12, it was over 12 years, but I couldn't come up with the figures. And how did I feel? I was devastated. Really. Everything, it took everything in me to not like fall on the ground and just pour my heart out. Like I was really devastated. And as I sit here and I think about it today, like it's like, damn, like, did they really do me like that? Because when you speak on the 250 victims, let's be real. A dead person can't get up and testify on you. So who is the victim? There's only one victim, the IRS. But instead of them sentencing me fairly, like they sentence everyone else, one victim, the IRS, they gave me a 6-point enhancement because I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I guess that
cooperate.
because you weren't cooperating. Well, right. I guess after getting sentenced, you asked the judge if you could hug your daughters, and he said no.
Said no. My kids, he said no.
So they basically pinned you as the ringleader.
They pinged me as the ringleader because of my entertainment company, First Lady Entertainment. They said that I was the pioneer. I labeled myself as First Lady because I was the first lady of tax fraud. Then they took the first lady of tax fraud and said, well, shit, not only is she the first lady of tax fraud, she the queen of tax fraud. So it was just all of these names that they used to poke fun and make it like I was just a
Okay.
leader.
You actually thought about taking your own life at that point.
Yes.
I mean, did it get to the point of you actually making plans to do it, or was it just a thought in the back of your head?
I thought about it and then I'm like, I ain't doing no damn 21 years. Why would I do 21 years? Then I thought about it and then I said, you know what? I'm still not doing 21 years. So that just instantly became a blur. I said, you know what I'm gonna do? They wanna put me on all the media stations. They wanna talk about me on blogs. They wanna say that I did this status. They wanna say that I stole this money. They wanna say this and they wanna say that. I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book and I'm gonna put all of this into one book so the world can hear and see the truth. And that's what I did.
Okay. So you're now in federal prison,
Mm-hmm.
21 years, ordered to pay over $3 million in restitution.
Yes.
Now, you've done skid bids here and there, but now you're in federal prison. What was that first night like?
The first night in federal prison, for real, like I was in denial that I was in prison. So I never like entered the prison and it was like, oh, like moping. I had a good family. I had, I was financially stable. It wasn't the first night in federal prison. It was the first night in the county jail. Because by this time I already I done did a year in the county jail, and the county jail is like the worst of the worst. And it's like, oh, let me sign this plea. I'm ready to go to prison. Like, so I'm just excited. I'm in prison. I got my freedom. It's the basketball court, softball fields, gyms. So I'm in prison and it's like, my first night was okay. It was, the county jail was the hard part.
Well, they put you in Hazleton, West Virginia.
At, in the beginning, I was in Aliceville, Alabama.
Okay. How far is that from Tampa?
I think 12 hours by car.
Okay, so you're nowhere near your family.
Nope.
Okay. And then later on, they put you in West Virginia, which is even farther?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're in an all-women's prison, and you're dealing with gangs and, you know, mental illness, drug addiction, and so forth. What do you think was the worst experience going through that prison system?
Like, just waking up every day, like, not being able to hug my kids and just as a mother, like, I think any mother that was a good mother, it's hard in prison just because of, you a mother, like you want to be around your kids. But I was a mother and I was a thug at the same time. And I wasn't going to be in prison crying in front of people and, because you hear the stories growing up, like, don't come to prison looking like a bitch or they going to treat you like a bitch. Like, so it was just, I can't really like say like my worst experiences because I had a lot of bad experiences in prison. Like I've been to every prison in the Brewer. I was getting in fights after fights after fights. They'll transfer me, transfer me, transfer me. So like even as someone like a woman in prison, like you build these sisterhoods with these women, and then you just gotta get shipped. They just ship you. Like they pick and choose who they want to ship. So it was like a lot of mixed emotions. Like you grow a sisterhood and you gotta just get snatched from them and go to another prison. And here it is, you gotta meet more bitches for years. Then you get snatched from them, and then you got to deal with the fake and the phony and the just yeah.
Well, all these fights you got into in prison, were they just fist fights or did they involve knives or weapons?
Fist fights, locks, never no knives, so just locks, fist fight.
Okay. But locks and so forth, so people are getting hit with objects as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, because I've interviewed a lot of men that came from prison, and yeah, I mean, you get some really gruesome stories. You know, like, for
Right,
example, like the Tory Lane situation that just happened, where he got
right.
stabbed 14 times. Like, was that happening in the female prison as well?
I mean, people get stabbed up with pencils and pens, and I never seen like nobody actually got. I never saw it. Like it happens, but I didn't have to. I never like actually experienced it being there. But right before I was released, I actually just got hit with a lock.
Mhm.
But throughout my whole bid, this is like 3 weeks before I'm about to go home. Like, and it's true when they say when somebody's about to go home, people try to take their release date from them and everything. That's really true.
Well, you have this big prison filled with women, and you have you know lesbian relationships and so forth. Now in men's prison, you have sexual assault that happens in certain prisons. Was that happening in your prison as well?
So I end up getting transferred to Dublin, California, where there was a lot of sexual assault going on, but I'm not at liberty to speak about it right now. But yes, the whole prison is now shut down. It's closed down. They shipped everybody off and they shut down the entire prison.
Okay, is that because of inmates assaulting each other, or male COs assaulting female inmates, or
The male staff sexually assaulting the females, um, mentally abusing the females, and so on. Anything that got to do with neglect, negligence, all of that.
okay? Now I grew up in the Bay Area. Dublin is, I know exactly where that is. You're talking about the whole other side of the country. So they actually shipped you as far as they possibly could from your family.
Yes. No, it was farther. I went to, oh yeah, after that, I ended up going to Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So is there a case brewing against this prison, which is why you can't talk about it?
it's just a lot, but I don't want to talk about it right now. We can probably circle back around, get me back on the show in a few months and we can talk about it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you're doing 21 years, but then you hire a new lawyer to try to work an appeal. What happens then?
I get a new lawyer, Mr. Andrew Greenlee, the best lawyer in the world. He's my everything. And he fought for me. This guy has fought for me since 2015. And my appeal got granted. I go back to court because you remember I spoke earlier about the gun enhancement and how they made me plead. And the judge came out of retirement and said, hey, this wasn't no mathematical error. 21 years is what I mean. And that's what I meant. And he gave me the same 21-year sentence again. See, at first I received 18 months for the gun, 24 months for the aggravated identity theft, and 17 years for the wire fraud, running consecutive. My appeal got granted. The appellate court in Atlanta vacated and remanded my sentence. I was on all the stations. They was like, oh, it's about to be a homecoming celebration for First Lady and this and that. I go back to court. The judge came out of retirement and say, okay, she want to play with me. Now, instead of 18 months, he sentenced me to 10 years for the gun. Instead of the 17 years for the wire fraud, he sentenced me to 19 years on the wire fraud and the 24 months aggravated identity theft, now running concurrent. So the 19 and the 24 months, he made it equal back up to 21 years.
So you get an appeal to reduce your sentence only to come back before the same judge to get a bigger sentence?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. So imagine a mother, a female, like having to go through that again. Like, it's like my family writing the letters, everybody's happy, I'm coming home, and he come back and say, it's like he killed me once, brought me back to life, and killed me again. So, I had those thoughts all over again, but I'm like, you know what? I got it. And that's when I really penned my book.
I mean, what was that like to go through? Because at that point, you'd been locked up how many years when you went to the appeal?
3.
Okay. Does that include the jail time in the county?
Yes.
Okay. So 3 years out of your life, right? And just to put in perspective, think about high school. Think about from freshman to junior year, you're locked up. Long time. And you're like, oh, I got this appeal. I got this great lawyer. Usually when you get an appeal because the sentencing was too high, you come back and you get a shorter sentence. That's the assumption that most people make. So you're excited. You're okay. I'm gonna get my time cut in half. Maybe I'll get time served. Who knows? And then you come to court, same judge, and he does the exact opposite. He gives you more time. Like, how just unbelievably bad did you feel in that courtroom?
Oh God, I felt bad for me. I felt bad for my family. I felt bad for my fans, the world. It was just like, she's coming home. She coming home. I knew she wasn't gonna do those 21 years. And just to be like, he brought me all the way back to court. He could have just said no on my appeal. He brought me all the way back to court to just embarrass me to the world, to make me stand up in the courtroom to say, I got you again. That's how I felt. I felt like a joke. Like, he dropped me off, picked me up, killed me, made me breathe, killed me again. And I just felt like, damn, like, why me?
Okay, so the whole appeal thing ends up backfiring. You go back to prison to serve out the rest of your time. And then in 2019, BET brings back American Gangster with American Gangster Trap Queens. And in the first season, you get featured on it. How did they actually reach out to you about that?
They reached out to me, I think, through the mail. They reached out through the mail. I was in the middle of trying to find me a publisher for my book. And they end up hitting me up back in 2017, 18. I was getting a lot of people hitting me up, and it was this company, and they was the producers of Hell's Kitchen 360, Hell's Kitchen and Crime Scene 360 or something. And they hit me up. I was in Wasika's prison in Minnesota. And I was excited because I'm like, somebody want me on TV? Like, I always downplayed my situation. I knew I had made Forbes magazine. I knew that I was in the New York Times, but I always downplayed my situation because I was just a scammer. And they hit me up and everything was good. I talked to the warden. The warden was like, okay, Wilson, the show hit me. We might let them come, but no cameras. I'm like, well, how was it a show with no cameras? And I end up going to the shoe which is special housing, the box. I end up going to the shoe for fighting. She came back there. She say, see, thank God we didn't approve it because look at you. And they shipped me to Hazleton. So while I was in Hazleton, I get this letter. So I'm thinking it's the same people again reaching back out to me that's supposed to did the show, but it was BET. And I used to be stingy when it came to my story. Like with the newspapers, I wouldn't do no interviews because I'm like, no, they labeled me as this fraud queen, this poster child, and made me look like I was just like the worst of the worst. I'm not doing no interviews with nobody. But when you get a offer like Black Entertainment Television, I was like, hell yeah. Like, I get to tell my story the way I want to tell my story, and y'all paying me, let's do it. And I did it.
Well, I watched that episode, and in a lot of these episodes, usually the women are out of prison and they're in a studio telling their story. You're actually in jail.
That's what makes mine so unique.
Yeah. You're actually like right there in the prison, still got your prison garb on and so forth, and obviously doing the interview while incarcerated. Okay, so time is going on. You're doing your 21 years, but then in 2025, you end up getting out early after serving 13 years of a 21-year sentence. Now, in the state, if you have good behavior, you could get like 50% time. But in the feds, it's what, 85%?
85%.
And on top of that, you're telling me you're getting into a bunch of fights and so forth, so it's not like you're an ideal prisoner.
Right.
So what happens?
So in 2018, they came out with a First Step Act law. It was where when you program, you get, I think, if you got your GED and program, you get 15 extra days a year. So you get that. And after you get your 15 extra days, so in 18, they started it. So all the good time that I have ever lost, I got it back. I got it back in 18. So now I have a fresh start. So now in 2020 or 2021, it came out again. Now you only can get up to 365 days off your sentence. So I got the time back. I got the 365 days off, but now I'm still programming. So those 15 days have to go somewhere. So they go inside of a bank. So around this whole First Step Act, the judicial system came out with the youth offender law, where if you were sentenced in your 20s, you qualify for a 2-point decrease, right? Decrease, yes. You qualify for 2 points. So now we filed, I think he put it in January. He filed for the 2 points, and he filed for the situation that the government never gave me, which was the victim enhancement. Back in 2015, when I went back to court, a law came out where the only victim is the IRS. So you remember that 6-point enhancement that we talked about? That 6-point enhancement have to go away. So out of 4 points that he filed for, they gave me 3 points. When they gave me the 3 points, it made my release date, they granted it. It made my release date September 12th of 2025. So with the First Step Act, I'm able to go finish, the rest in the halfway house or on home confinement. So technically, I'm still bidding until September 2025, September 12th, 2025.
Okay, so what year did you find out that you were only going to do 13 years instead of 21?
In March of 2000. So what was happening, like we knew the law had passed, but my lawyer, Mr. Andrew Greenlee, we had to get our ducks in a row. He had to pull up different people cases that actually got the law, like actually got granted. So he filed it in January. I think he filed it in January, but we still had, I still didn't know that I was going to go home because we got to go back in front of this judge again.
Hmm.
So I never thought that I was going home. I started fasting and I just went to praying hard. Like I was not cursing. Like, and he filed it and it was like, the government responded. The same one, the prosecutor, the one that she responded and she said, we have a recommendation of 67 months. I'm like, I have like 69 months left in prison. Is they saying they finna let me go home? Like, he was like, she said it's a recommendation. It still have to go back in front of the judge. I say, but she's not objecting. So am I finna go home? Like, am I really going home? Like, it was just, the feeling was amazing. Like, I said I was going home before the judge actually granted it because it was like, the prosecutor on my side? No, she's recommending that I get 67 months because he asked for immediate release. Of course, they didn't give me my immediate release and they didn't give me my 67 months, but they resentenced me and gave me the 3 points and they resentenced me to, I think, 15 years and 6 months. And that's what made me have 6 months left to my sentence. So out of the 21 years, I went back. Basically, they sentenced me to 15 years and 6 months.
Okay, so that meant that at the time you found out, you had 6 months left until you got released.
Yes, because I found out in March, and then, like I say, my release date is September 12th. So, with the halfway house, they send you home now with the First Step Act. They can send you to the halfway house with less than 24 months. So now, with the sentence reduction, remember, I got all these days in the bank. I got all these 15 days that I've been accumulating. Like, I got like 700 days in the bank that right now we're working on putting the 700 days towards probation.
Okay, and you had touched on this earlier. When you found out you're getting out in a few months and the other female inmates are, realizing this, that's when the hatred and the jealousy starts coming in.
Right. So I found out I was going home and it was a situation that happened where I had all of my clothing, I was giving it away to people, but I had this set support. It's crazy because like in prison, like it's so like people get into it for so small reason, like materialistic things. And we talking Russell. We're not talking Nike, Jordan, Gucci, Louis. We're talking Russell. So I had these 2 Russell shirts that they don't sell anymore because I got it back then. I was locked up for forever. And I had them on my bed and they came up missing. And one girl was going to special housing and the officer was packing her out. And I see these shirts, my shirts that I've been missing. Nobody don't have them on the compound. So they call it exclusive. And my name is in the shirts. And I had asked her, did she have them? And she said, no, it was a girl boy. And I had the officer to give me my shirts when she was packing her out. So the girl felt some type of way, like as if I went into her property, but I didn't go in her property. You can't go into the property. But you lied and said you didn't steal my shit. I want my stuff. And she got mad when she got out the shoe. She ended up getting into a fight with somebody. And the person that she got in the fight with, she got beat up. So she went and got a lock for the girl and was like, anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. And you too, bitch. And hit me with a lock. She thought about the situation from the shirts. And she just stole off on me and split my face up. And yeah, we both end up going to the shoe.
Look, I had a friend who was locked up for a while. He told me that he saw a situation where this one guy was getting out, and as he's leaving, he gives his radio to this guy that he knew, and this other guy got upset that he didn't get the radio, and it turned into a fight, and then this guy gets killed.
Yeah, it happens.
With like a couple weeks before he got out because of a radio.
Crazy.
So this type of thing happens all the time.
Right. And I felt like, because about a shirt that was mine that you stole, why would you hit me with a lock? It wasn't about that. It was the exact same day that I got my date. And I was in the TV room and I was like, oh my God, I got my date. I'm going home March. Took my ass to the hole that same day. The same day. Because
what was it like to walk? Sorry, go ahead.
If I get in trouble with the First Step Act, if 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 the situation was any different where she was fucked up, I would have lost that year that they gave me. This not my good time year. This my First Step Act year. I get the good time year too. So I would have lost those 2 years plus, you know what I mean? So she tried to take that from me because she know that I'm not the person nobody's not putting their hands on me.
Well, after 13 years in prison, you finally get to walk out this year. What was it like for those doors to open and walking out of that prison?
Oh my God. It was amazing. Like, it was just like, I was just like, wow. Like, I wanted to start touching the ground. Like, is this like, damn, like I'm home, I'm free. Like, it's not 2031, I'm home. And it was just like, thank God there is a God. Like, I'm home. Like, it was just amazing. It was just like my baby, because I left when she was 1 and she was just like, it was just like, I want to hug my mama. I know this is my mama, but should I hug her? What should I do? And it was just like, the feeling was just amazing. Like, very emotional, because my mom or my family, nobody knew. We surprised them. I ended up telling 2 of my sisters 2 days before because I wanted them there. And I was going to be selfish and just knock on my mom's door and surprise her. But I felt it was only right to have my sisters a part of us surprising our mom. Because before I came to prison, September of 2011, I lost one of my sisters. And then in September 2012, here go me, I get sentenced to 21 years. So it's like my mom lost two daughters in September within a year apart, you know? So I wanted my sisters to share that moment with my mom.
Well, you get out, you're 39 years old. You now have multiple felonies on your record, right? Because you pled guilty. And you go into a halfway house?
Yes.
Now, what's that situation like once you go into a halfway house? Obviously, it's not prison, but it's not ideal also.
So when you mention like, what's it like how is the feeling having a felon? I mean, I was a felon pretty much all my life. So it's not really a difference. Like, I feel like people make up excuses when they be like, oh, I'm a felon and I can't get a job or I can't do this. But when you're a hustler, you're gonna hustle by any means necessary. So I don't feel any different than I was before coming to prison or becoming a felon. What it's like in the halfway house is like, it has its perks and it have its ups and downs because you got to think about it. Like, I'm a known figure and I went to prison for tax fraud and I stole people identities, and there's people that don't like that. They feel like I was flamboyant. I probably stole their identity. I don't know, you know? So it's not going to be a walk in the park. They're not going to be like, but then you're going to have some people like, she did her time. Like,
I mean, look, I'm not a fan of the legal system in terms of felonies because I feel like if you did your time, you should come out because you paid your debt to society. But unfortunately, the way this works is that it's a permanent punishment. Because of a felony, you can't get certain types of jobs. And when you get out, out of the halfway house, you probably are required to have a job of some sort.
yes.
So that's not going to be the best job, because people could legally turn you down from a job application because you're a felony. It seems like you have a certain amount of support, but a lot of times people get out with no support, no family, no friends. They try to get an apartment and it's like, no, you can't get an apartment here because you have a felony. And that's totally legal. You could discriminate against felonies. And a lot of times people without support like yourself get out and they just go back to doing crime again, which then sends them back to prison. And then there you have it. So, it seems like you're okay, but a lot of other people are not. And that's the problem that I have with the overall legal system.
I feel like the people that get out of prison and go back, it's because they're not determined. They're not determined to be successful. They're not determined to stay out of prison. It's not because they're a felon or is this. It's so many jobs out here that hire felons if that's what you want to do, if you want to work. If you want to get out and you want to sell drugs, that's because that's what you want to do. It's not like, it be an excuse. Like, it's just an excuse because I haven't even been out but for a few months. And I got out, I done made music, which is streaming on all platforms, major platforms right now. I done redid my book. I have a big back to school event in the city, August 9th, a big back to school event. I have investors, I have sponsors. So, because that's what I wanted to do. I'm not failing. So when you are determined to move forward and to get to the bag, that's what's gonna happen. Everybody else that go back to prison, come on, they gotta be determined. They gotta think more smarter. Like,
Well, part of your sentencing, apart from the prison time, was the restitution.
yes,
And like I mentioned, it was over $3 million in restitution. So you actually have to pay that back?
yes. I mean, yeah, but yeah. I ain't gonna say yeah, but no, but yeah, I have to pay it back. Like I pay, but I'm paying $25 a month. So, you know,
It's going to be about 1,000 years before you pay all that back, is basically what
oh
you're
no, I'm
saying.
gonna make me some money. I'm gonna pay them their little money so I can get them out the way so I can be successful.
So you mentioned some of the things you're doing now. You're redoing your book. You got a back to school drive. You mentioned investors. Like, what is really your plan at this point? Because
Right now, I'm working with SCK Media. We're working on a reality show. We're working on a movie. We're working on a podcast where it's called Hello. And it's me interviewing women that's incarcerated. It stands for helping empower ladies to lead and overcome. Like giving them a platform to tell their story like Trap Queens gave me. I got that. The book, Money, Power, and Time will be sold on Amazon next week. I got my music. My first single just dropped this morning at 12 o'clock. It's called I'm Back by First Lady. And I just got a lot going on and I'm destined to be successful. If the music don't work, we got production. We got SCK Media that's gonna take me to the top. If the book don't work, if that don't work, I got a different avenue for everything that I have coming up. By January, the world will be seeing a lot of me.
well, you did your time, and ultimately you stand behind everything that you've done. But if you look back on your past, if there's just one thing that you could have changed, one important decision that you would have done differently, knowing what you know now, what would that be?
I probably wouldn't have messed with Maurice. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the downfall, huh?
yeah, yeah. And I probably wouldn't have been touching them people money because I'm too like, I'm too smart to even, come on, I have my own business making $100,000. I brought an artist 15,000. He really was 30,000. Plies. He was $30,000. You pay 15 and you make 15. I cleared 111,000 in one night. I did not have to defraud the government. It was just a guy, me, my greed. But I'll do things a lot different this time. I would have.
Well, Maurice got 14 and a half years. You did 13. So is he out or getting out soon?
He's out. He been out.
Oh, he's been
Because
out.
the First Step Act, remember?
Ah, okay.
Yes,
He got that
been
too.
out. He got out,
Okay.
what, 2-3 years early for the first, because it gives everybody extra time to get out of prison early.
Have you guys been in contact at all?
Yes.
And how was that conversation like? Did he say, listen, I'm sorry for my role in it? Or was it like, okay, listen, we both knew what we were doing and we just got caught?
It's both because I played a role, he played a role. Like he don't owe me no apologies. I don't owe him no apologies. But we just like, it's not no relationship type stuff. No, it's just like you know, how you doing, what you doing today, what you got planned. Like we're not at odds. Like he got a girlfriend, I'm single. It's just we just we just living. We lost a lot of our life, a lot of time of our life, you know? And he did not tell on me. Like I know black and white, he didn't tell on me. Now, yeah.
Well, Rashia, I appreciate you coming in and telling your story. I think it's a very cautionary tale because at the end of the day, like it is very easy to make that quick scam money. And you think it's a victimless crime because it's the government, they got trillions of dollars, and who's really going to pay attention? And, you know, there's always a reason to cut the line and try to get that money that's not really yours. But when you look at it and you see the amount of time that you lost, 13 years, you could have been working in McDonald's and probably made more money during that time and had your freedom at the same time. So, and I see this story a lot, you know, between drug dealers, scammers, robbers, and so forth. You know, they ball out and they get all these, you know, the wealth and the cars and the clothes and the homes and the travel and so forth. But you know, I've always seen it's almost like a 5-to-1 ratio. For every 1 year you ball out, you'll end up doing 5 years in prison. You know, you have a good 3 years, boom, that turns into 15 years of prison. And when you do the math, it just never ever works out. Every single person wished that they had just, you know, worked a 9-to-5 job during those, you know, those years in prison, as opposed to actually having their, you know, their freedom taken away, being away from family, being away from the opposite sex, and so forth. So I don't think what we're doing here is glamorizing what you've done. I think this is a cautionary tale, and I think a lot of people are very tempted to do what you've done. And I think that this story shows what the backside of all that is. Yes, you will ball out, you'll be popular, you could help your family, and you could do all this stuff, but then you end up spending all these years in the worst possible situation. And, you know, luckily, you're one of the few that did get out with your health, with your sanity, because a lot of people get out messed up.
Right.
And it seems like you're determined not to go back, not to repeat the cycles that you've gone through. You have kids that are older now who are very happy that you're back. And I think that this really teaches a lot of the viewers the lessons of what not to do. And to, you know, even though the legal way takes a lot longer, but in the long run, it's almost always better.
Right.
So I truly appreciate you coming in. I wish you all the best and looking forward to the music, the book, the reality show, and everything else.
And make sure the world know that I'm out here. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm not going back. I want to apologize for all the victims, but yes, I did what I did. I can't take that back. I did my time. This time I want to do everything the right way. So the support, our love, and look, I came home doing something for the kids. The back to school event, August 9th, that's big in Tampa. And I came home trying to do the right thing. So stay tuned.
Looking forward to it. Until next time, peace.